I think that we're kind of swimming in different pools and just every once in a while getting into the same hot tub.
Absolutely.
So if you had a chance to listen to the new Pornographers album, is that called Continuous Guest?
Yes. I listened to it a number of times, and yeah, I feel like I have a good feeling for it. Um, Bit disappointed in
Yeah.
general. Um,
Okay.
Probably my least favorite of theirs so far, I would say.
You put this absolute
I would. I
bottom
would.
of the barrel.
Bottom of the
Um,
barrel. Yeah.
you
What'd you
like the
think?
new Pornographers?
Oh, I love them. I love them. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
that first record is probably one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah,
It's
I think
just
there's a hand.
track
They have a
after track.
handful.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have a handful of albums that I consider essential. I would
Oh yeah.
say. So I listened
Absolutely.
to this. I've listened to this. I think about 6 times. As we're recording this, it's only been out a couple of days. Uh, I'm also. I think I would also say I'm disappointed. I think it's good, but it's uneven. There's some songs I like a lot more than others. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I'd have it's just definitely in the lower end for me of a new Pornographers album. And
Yeah.
one thing I noticed is I feel like the songs that I like the most sound very similar to other new Pornographers songs that
That's
on the
that's what I
past.
was gonna say. Yeah, the two songs that I really like are the most like their songs from other albums. Um, One thing I found very odd about this one was the production. I found was like super muddy and just I don't know
Really?
if they were trying to do like a shoegaze thing or add some other elements, but I just it's yeah,
Yeah,
it didn't land
I
very
don't know
well.
if I caught that. Muddy
Well,
thought.
the reason I caught it is because I thought there was something wrong with my speakers. Uh,
Mm,
and then I listened to it on another system, and I was like, "Oh, that's just the way it sounds."
yeah.
So that's unfortunate, but you know, usually that stuff doesn't bother me. But if it makes me feel like my equipment is malfunctioning, um,
Yeah, that's not good. It's not
no,
good.
no. So I mean, it's obviously it's their first on Merge Records. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Probably doesn't. I'm assuming the process for them is same, but yeah, I don't know. Just couldn't. It just didn't resonate with me. It just I wasn't finding. You know, usually I'm looking for the really hot tracks. I
Yeah,
need at least a handful of hot tracks that I really love that I want to keep on listening to, and I just wasn't hearing them,
yeah.
unfortunately. But you know, that AC Newman, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, no, I love AC Newman. Love Nico Case.
Me
I really,
too.
yeah, I love the new Pornographers.
Yeah, yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was excited to hear it, and you know that happens. Is you know your favorite bands? You know, this is their ninth record. I mean, you know, I can't even do one.
right, exactly.
You know, they're keeping going and trying new things. I mean, you know, these bands have to try new stuff, and sometimes it just doesn't work as well. But yeah, what else?
Yeah, let's talk about the Yo La Tango album that came out. This stupid world. Um,
Yeah,
we might have differing opinions here. What do you
yeah.
think?
Well, I think we probably do because I think you're a much bigger fan than I am, and I guess
Okay.
I listening to this record, it was a bit of a reckoning for me because I was like, wait a minute, maybe I don't like Yola Tango as much as I think I like Yola Tango. And don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the record, and there are a number of tracks I thought were standouts, really good songs. But just the overall vibe, um, I don't know, it wasn't really landing great with me. The What was I gonna say? Yeah, it just didn't land great, and I don't know. I've reviewed, I've gone back and listened to, a lot of the records in the past. I don't have them all. I mean, that they have so damn many of them. They've been around for
Right.
so long at this point. But just realizing that, yeah, I don't know if the droney songs that are like 8 minutes. That's not my vibe. I can't do that. I like 3-4 minute songs,
Do you
poppy.
like any Yo La Tengo albums?
Oh, I definitely do. Oh yeah, yeah, and but this one
What
just
would do you
seemed a little
if you had to
thin.
pick one? Could you pick one? I don't know if I could pick one.
Uh, I mean, there are definitely standouts. I have to reference the internet at
Yeah,
this point because,
put you on the spot, put you on the
like
spot there.
we're talking earlier. I don't have a memory for this shit anymore. But uh, definitely, probably I can hear the heart beating as one is. I mean, and it's highly regarded as probably their greatest record, right? So that one's great. And then nothing turned itself inside out is really good. I enjoyed
Mhm.
that one. That's a little more downbeat, but I did a really there's some really beautiful songs on there.
Yeah,
More recently, I feel like I really enjoyed the last one. There's a riot going on, but I don't remember much about it. What about you?
I mean, I think this is for me. This is their best album since And Then Nothing. I think I would
Oh,
say
really?
for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't think it really is, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I probably came into liking them earlier when they were more. To me, this album harkens back to like the early mid '90s Yo La Tengo.
Okay.
It doesn't sound exactly like those, like that era, but it's scratches that itch for me. I think I mentioned that and whenever I talked about that record as well. But yeah, so
Mhm.
we have a little. You don't dislike it. You just don't like it. You
No,
don't like it nearly as much.
I just and especially the title, I was like, this stupid world. Oh man, I'm really gonna like
You're
this
going to be
because
all over this.
that's that's how I feel. But yeah, I just couldn't. And it really, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? It's all just, however, you're experiencing it yourself. My experience with or my uh enjoyment comes usually from absorbing some of the lyrics, and
Yeah,
it's harder to hear the lyrics in their stuff, especially this one. So I was having trouble sort of, engaging with it because of that. um but I could probably maybe slap on some headphones and try to listen a little closer. I probably will, uh, since giving it such a glowing review. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, do you feel like this is? I mean, I'm guessing from what I can tell of the vibe of it and the lyrics that this is their pandemic record, right? I mean, uh,
yeah. I think that's a fair. I think that's a
yeah,
fair statement.
yeah, and so this stupid world is probably a reflection of just
Yeah, I think
how
so.
fucked up everything is. So yeah, I'm there with them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. How about Quasi? How about Sam Coomes? Sam Coomes, right? Sam Coomes and Janet
Yeah,
Weiss. Yeah.
yeah, formerly of I think he was in Heat Miser, right? I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
where he has
Heat
his
Miser and
rock fame from.
yeah.
And obviously Janet Weiss from Slater Kinney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not realize they have so many records. In reviewing this one, I looked back and they have a shit ton of records. I became aware of them in the late '90s with R&B transmogrifications and featuring birds. I liked a handful of the stuff that I was hearing there. I haven't really delved too much farther into their catalog, but
Okay.
after hearing this one, I probably will, because this is my pick.
This is
Uh,
your hot pick.
Yeah, this is the hot pick. I really enjoyed this one, and it's I mean it's just kind of my thing, right? I mean, he does uh he is kind of sarcastic, witty lyrics that you can
Yeah.
actually hear and absorb, uh and the songs are nice and quick, and it's just upbeat poppy shit that I really dug it. And it's just so many great songs that I wanted to listen to over and over again. um yeah, I'm digging it, so I probably will go back and try to absorb some of the previous stuff. I always kind of just thought they were kind of just a side thing, being as they were both in other bands and stuff. But this is good stuff, and definitely a pandemic record. What were your thoughts?
So I like it also. I don't know if I like it as much as you, but I will admit I think I've only listened to it a handful of times. So this is one I probably need to go back and spend more time with at some point.
Yeah.
I love featuring birds. I think Field Studies came, it was album after that. Like, and then it's been generally speaking, I like all the records to some level, all of them. I believe I probably have listened to all of them. I don't know how many they have though. And I'm terrible with the names.
Yeah, I mean, I can just take a quick look. Let me reference the internet.
You're gonna reference the internet.
Yeah. This is, what is it, their ninth? Yeah, this is their ninth record. First one was R&B Transmogrifications. Yeah, I mean, I really fell off. They fell off for me after Sword of God. They released Hot Shit, When the Going Gets Dark, American Gong, Mole City, between Sword of God and this record, and I completely
For me
lost
that I
track
think
of them.
I think for me it's that's kind of the lower half of their catalog.
Yeah.
I liked that first record, but I really liked second and third records that they put out. I think featuring birds, and I think Field Studies is the name of the third record.
Yep, that was the one before Sword of God. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're a terrific live band. I love Chad Weiss is an amazing drummer. In anything that she's in.
Yeah, I was very disappointed too when they dropped her or she left or whatever happened with Slater, because I listened to those records and they just seemed like they completely switched gears. And then do you enjoy Slater Kinney? Is that one of your bands?
Did we see them? Did we see them together? We might have seen Slater Kinney. You don't think so?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe at
with that other guy. I can't remember his name. I see. It was I remember. I kind of remember. I'm sure you were there, but
was it like not Dig Me Out, the one after that? Maybe that tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, she did, worked with Steve Malkmus and the Jicks, and then I love that second record from them, and yeah, it's good stuff. But did you listen to the most recent Slater Kinney? What were your thoughts on that? I know it's getting off of new releases, but
I didn't like the most recent. I actually did like the last one that Janet plays on. I think more than most
people. The Woods, or is that
the one after that, right?
I like both of those. Yeah,
but a lot of people didn't. Anyway, I like that one. I did not like the last one so much.
Yeah, when I don't
think I hate it, but
yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say I hate it either. But it's just it's a completely different vibe.
I didn't actually listen to it a ton either, though, I will say.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the pick. Quasi.
Quasi is your number one with a bullet for 2020. It's your number one album of 2023.
Yes. Yep. And I'll make a list of 5 records for the Q1. But no, it's good stuff. But yeah, I don't know what else has caught your fancy. Are you digging anything else?
So I thought maybe I just run through 5 that really have my attention. I guess 5 for 2023 so far. The album that I've listened to the most, partially because it came out in January, so it has the most time, but also because every time I listen to it, I want to listen to it again, is the Tubbs Dead Meat. Listen to that a lot. I think that you might like that. I don't know if you've heard that.
Okay. I know, I'm not familiar. I might have to write it down.
And then a couple, I mean, Lou's Lawyer, All in Good Time. I talked about that recently. I really like that. And then Flying Colors album, You Never Know. And the band The Reds, Pinks, and Purples, they just put out an album. So I listened to that quite a bit recently. That's The Town That Cursed Your Name. I had to write down the name because I can't remember.
I downloaded that just recently.
And then
unfamiliar to me.
Yeah, I like that one. I think that is a good. He's a little bit prolific. The Glenn Donaldson is his name. He's a little bit prolific, so I feel like this is a good entry point. And so prolific, I can do one album a year, but when there's all these other like EPs and I can't keep up with all that stuff. But I do follow him on his LP releases. Yep. And then I guess the 5th one, an Attendant Ana, Principia. That's a French band, Parisian band that I like a lot. That'll probably wind up in my top 10 of the year. That album.
Okay. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I think those almost only one of those I think is on my radar, and obviously I'm very organized and I made a list for us to reference.
Yeah.
And none of those are on there. So yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Those are ones that stick out, and what I guess they're more just ones I've been enjoying spending time with.
Yeah.
Well, how about you?
For me, I've been having trouble finding anything that really resonates hardcore. So it's got me a little worried for the top.
You've been disappointed with the albums coming out this year?
So far, I'm just going to rattle off a whole crap ton. I'm not going to go with 5. Sorry, Douche.
You do what you want to do, man.
Yeah. So, and I want your opinion on a couple of them because I know you've listened to them. The Belle and Sebastian, Late Developers came out like right away in January.
Kind of a surprise release.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I know you're a huge fan. I don't know that I should expect, I'm not going to get a Tiger Milk or Boy with Arab Strap at this point in their career. But there was a handful of good songs, but overall fairly disappointed. What were your thoughts on it? Did you listen to it?
So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. I'm not exceptionally high on it. I'm probably not much higher on it than you are, but I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. My opinion on Belle and Sebastian recently is up and down, even on the same record. Like if I, it feels like there's something familiar and comforting to me about a Belle and Sebastian record that I appreciate and enjoy. And sometimes it's hard to separate myself from that. Kind of like Teenage Fan Club. It's so like, it's like going back to your mom.
Yeah, comforting.
In the embrace of your mother. Just the familiarity. It's hard to sometimes separate myself from that. But and so maybe I'll be like, oh, I think this is really good. Now I think it's maybe not so good, but still good, or I don't know.
Yeah, I try not to listen to things too many times if I like it, because then I'll just end up hating it. So, but this one I gave a handful of listens. There's a new record by the Supergrass frontman Gaz Coomes.
I've not listened.
Are you a Supergrass guy? Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But I've not listened to that. I have not listened. I don't know. He has more solo albums, right?
He does. He has, I think 3. I think maybe this is his 3rd.
I think I might have listened to the first one. I've not listened to this one. What did you think?
I feel like the previous one was really good. This
Okay.
one was just kind of mild. It wasn't great, and not a lot of standouts on that. But the new Margo Price, I really enjoyed. I know that's probably in the Venn diagram of our musical tastes. That might land on my side more and not on yours, but I really enjoyed that. There's a couple
You
of
like that? So I've had people recommend it to me. I've not listened to it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one I'll have to check out.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oh, did you listen to the Guided by Voices, the new one?
Yeah,
We were
I
talking about
talked
this in the
about
last
that
video.
recently. I actually liked it.
You did.
And by liked, I mean, I think we talked about this last time we got together.
Yeah.
It was just too much, right?
Yeah.
Where this felt like a solid 11 song, 35-minute album.
Okay.
Good
Okay.
songs, worth checking out. Not breaking any new ground. It's still undeniably guided by voices.
Yeah.
I know he's going to put out another record towards the end of the year, so there'll be another 2-album
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah.
But
well, that's why I was asking, because I actually, as we talked before, there's just too much, so I didn't put the effort into checking out this time. But now that you've given it the thumbs up, I'll probably check it out.
Right, and I've heard from other people that also like think it's good.
Yeah. Excuse me. New Ladytron record. They're back again, which surprised me. That was pretty decent, actually. I did not like their previous, but this one's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was good as well.
Yeah, I'm a huge Joe Henry fan. Joe Henry just released another new record, and he's another guy that, I mean, he's been around for a really long time and released a lot of records. That one also, I mean, there's always some gold in those records. I really enjoyed that. That's probably in the top 5 for me, certainly so far. Let's see what else we got now. So there's this Blur side project with Graham Coxon and I forget who the female member is, but I think it's the Waeve. Did you check that out at all? Because I know you're a big Blur fan, right?
And I like Graham Coxon's solo records, or at least a handful of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
I dug it too. I didn't think I would. And I've never been a huge Blur guy. I saw them live probably like 2000 or something like that, whenever that, third record out, third or fourth, whatever. And I have never wanted to punch a performer so much in my life than that show, because of Graham Coxon, like him just standing up on stage, his total vibe, the cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He just seemed like a real piece of shit. But thinking back on it, after experiencing that in the moment, kind of thinking back on it, I was like, okay, well, this guy's kind of punk rock, he's telling us he doesn't give a shit, so I kind of came around on it. But so I've never been a huge fan, but I was pleasantly surprised by this record.
So I didn't know what to expect with this. I can't remember her name either, but she's in the Pipettes, or she was in the band the Pipettes. I mean, she primarily sings, so you're not really getting although Graham does sing. He sings.
He sings a handful of songs. Yep. Or they do.
Yeah, and I can see people not liking his vocal style for sure. I don't have that problem, but I can see people not liking it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a good record.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised with that. I'm a big tennis fan. Do you like tennis?
I like some tennis. Yeah, I do like some tennis.
Okay. Yeah, this one was disappointing.
Did you like the last one?
I did,
okay.
But not.
And you found this one to be disappointing.
It's diminishing. Like the last one was, just a little not as good as the previous, and this one's even not as good. So, but I do love them.
Yeah. I've not really listened to this. I mean, I've heard some of the, I've heard some, I think some of the single, at least a couple songs. I've not listened to the whole thing.
Yep. Carolyn Polachek is probably her new record, Desire I Want to Turn Into You, is probably one of my top five so far. She's formerly from the band Chairlift. She's released a bunch of different stuff, some of it like ambient electronic stuff. She had to do like a avant pop record under a different name. But this is her second solo record. And good stuff all around, female led, pop, electro pop kind of stuff, but she's got sort of a avant-garde take on things. I find her very interesting. This one isn't quite as good.
I find it interesting how it's almost near universal acclaim. I feel like.
Yeah, she's getting a lot
of hype, seemingly. Which I wonder do you think that has to do with like reverence built over time?
Well, certainly there's an aspect of it of the fact that she's very attractive, and
you think that might have something to do with it?
She does not fear showing that off if you watch any of her videos.
Yeah.
So certainly there's a portion of that. She knows how to market herself in that way, but on the other flip side of that, she's obviously very talented and
I agree.
Artistic and very impressive. So
yeah, I agree. I just feel like it's I don't know. There's just something strange to me about the level, because of
you distrust it a little.
It's like pop music.
Yeah,
that is highly regarded in a way that maybe something else. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be. I'm just saying I find it a little peculiar, because we're talking like from mainstream press to indie press to whatever. It seems like held in high regard. That's all I would say.
Yeah, it's almost like she's wolf in sheep's clothing a little bit. Like she came from indie rock, but now she's highly regarded as just almost a pop star. I mean, it is very female driven pop, like in the Madonna.
And I don't have my finger on the pulse of. I don't have my finger on the pulse of modern pop music. But I would assume that her music would fit in on a.
It regular, absolutely does, and especially because.
And not saying, not saying that's a problem necessarily. No. Yeah,
especially because there's elements of R&B, and there's a lot of collaborators and things like that.
I think she's very talented. I like a lot of her songs. Yeah. I'm just saying that I find it a little strange.
I totally
times
pick up.
There's other pop music that I like. You know what I mean? There's other pop music that I like that doesn't get that level of acclaim, I guess. Yeah. So I find it interesting.
But her first record, Pang, was one of my favorites from that year. I think 2018, maybe something like that. But this one is not quite as immediate and direct. It's a little bit more abstract in the lyrical content and stylistically jumping around, but definitely rewards repeated listens, I would say. What else we got? Oh yeah, Steve Mason. This is another old sort of Britpop adjacent band that sort of snuck up on me, that I did not realize that the front man has a solo career. So I just stumbled onto it, making my list of new releases, and I was like, oh well, I'm a pretty big Beta Band fan, and that's the band he's from.
Right.
And I was pleasantly surprised. He's got sort of it's very similar to the Beta Band. No big surprises there. Definitely a much more serious and adult than what you would get from the Beta Band, but and much more globally interested then that stuff as well. He does a lot of work with a Pakistani musician in this one, which gives it, you know, sort of global flavoring, which is very good. So definitely check that out if you have time.
Okay, yeah, that's something I need to listen to.
Yeah, and I mean he has 5 records, which I'm just like, where does this come from? You know, how did I not know about this? But it's, you know, just comes from, you know, him going by his name. So
Right.
just looking by. So are you a fan of the Gorillaz? Do you like Gorillaz?
I have not listened to the. I've not listened to a Gorillaz record since the first record, in its entirety.
Yeah. So they sort of have reached a level of popularity where you're not.
They were popular right away. They were popular right away, more or less.
Oh,
yeah. No, I like that first record, and then I really don't know that I've ever listened to another one in full. Another one of them in full, and it's kind of feels like it's almost run its course. Or am I wrong? Maybe you're about to tell me that I'm wrong.
No, certainly not. I mean, this just, I mean, I don't know how the band dynamic works, but this really just seems like a vehicle for Damon Albarn, his almost a solo record. At least this one does.
Yeah,
and he released the solo record, you know, fairly recently. I feel like it's fairly similar. Like it's gotten less poppy, but still they have all these, you know, popular guest people or R&B people or
yeah, I think that I saw that a lot of guest musician or guest artists.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, there's still enjoyable tunes in there, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with you. It feels like it's run its course.
I mean, I like Damon Albarn.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something that I should check out at least once.
Yeah. Other than that, you know, the more recent stuff that has come out that has caught my attention. Obviously, you mentioned the Reds, Pinks, and Purples. I'll definitely be listening to that. I listened to a handful of that on Bandcamp, and I was impressed by that. Just noticing that Slumberland is the label.
Yeah,
I picked up on that. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the big thing right now is boygenius. Their new record, or their first record since the original release that they had, was technically an EP. That was, I think, my number one of that year. Like I love that EP so much. So far, I have not spent a lot of time with it. So far, I'm a little
You're not as hot on it.
I'm not as hot on it, unfortunately. And you know, I hate to be that way. You know, you can't always measure every release against the best release from the band, but certainly that first one was just so great. I had high hopes, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. That first EP was really, really good.
Yeah,
I think that was almost like happened on accident, right? That's the whole story, right? That they just were going to record one song, and then they recorded because they were touring together, I believe is they were going to be touring together, so they're going to record one song, and then they wanted to release that whole EP. And I think it was somewhat of a surprise hit, maybe even. Yeah. But yeah, I've not listened to the. I saw the boygenius, the new one, the new LP getting a lot of rave reviews, but I've not listened to it yet.
Yeah, it seems to be reviewing fairly well. I'm not clocking it at that level, but you know, we'll see. Sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Those are the notables. But yeah.
All right, maybe we'll have to do this again in what, 3 months? Come back and check in.
Absolutely, you got to keep on top of
the
this
year
stuff.
has gotten any better for you.
Yeah,
if it's just continued to be, we're circling the drain.
Or I am. Yeah, one of the two. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So all right, cool. Well, thanks for having me again. Always a good time.
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.